Hey guys, Chari5 here, and today we're doing a little bit of a longer episode. Last time I did a discussion on a retrospective of Sonic Forces, and I didn't really get to talk about a lot of things that I would have liked to talk about. And especially, I think, because the Mario Odyssey Everything Wrong With was really short. It was way shorter than I expected it to have been. Not that I expected it to be long, but, like, you know, the story's a little bit more extensive, and, you know, for it to still have been, like, 10 minutes or, like, 11 minutes to me is actually kind of strange, considering, you know, again, just the length of the game. I thought that 10 minutes was kind of short, and especially due to all the work I put into it. I put about as much work into that one as I did into Forces, so it really did, like, feel weird to finish this and be like, oh, it's only 11 minutes? Oh my god. But anyway, I guess we can talk a little bit about what I thought about the game. And it was a game that, when was it announced? I don't exactly remember. It might have been, I'm pretty sure it was last year. I remember because someone posted the trailer for it on Twitter or something, and I was watching it and I was like, huh, okay, this looks really interesting. And I noticed something, because a lot of people that I know have been like, oh, fucking, I can't wait for a Super Mario 64 2. It's like, I mean, I personally kind of see as Sunshine and the Galaxy games as sort of sequels to 64, because, you know, they follow the same format, even if, you know, they're not 100% the same. Even Odyssey isn't 100% the same as 64, but I consider it a sequel, you know, in that same line of game. So it's 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, Galaxy 2, and now Odyssey. Because they follow that sort of Mario 3D platformer, you know, style. Sure, Sunshine had Flood, Galaxy had, you know, the Lumas in your cap, and now we have Cappy in Odyssey. So it's like they're always introducing new elements to help Mario out, even though 64 was completely vanilla. You didn't need any, like, power-ups or anyone else there helping you. And I noticed, like, a heart in the background, and I remember thinking, like, I don't think, because every other time, like in Sunshine and in 64 we had a heart like item that you know, gave us full health if we, like, touched it and stuff. In Sunshine, we had coins to get our health back, which we also had in 64, but I think in Sunshine we didn't really have anything else. So we only had the coins in Sunshine. And in Galaxy, I believe we had the mushrooms to get our health back. So this time, like, I noticed there was another heart power-up, which was something we hadn't seen since 64, and I was like, oh, wait, is this like a sequel to 64? So, you know, Odyssey was a game that I was really interested in. Not super interested in at first, but I was sort of following it. And then the trailer at E3, I think it was this year, came out. And oh my god, I could not have been more excited for it. It looked gorgeous. It looked amazing. The little minute details. Just in the trailer by itself, they looked incredible. They looked amazing. And I mean, I still wasn't getting all my hopes. I was like, okay, it'll probably just be a standard fair Mario game, but we'll see, right? And just the diversity in the diversity, quote unquote, because when you look at it for what it is, it still incorporates the level motifs and the tropes that it has for years now, you know, like, oh, grassy, desert, ice, jungle, stuff like that. But it feels so original. It feels so unique in this case. And, you know, I think that's good. Like, for example, my favorite world from Odyssey is the Sand Kingdom, or Tostarena. And the reason for that is because I do feel a very personal connection to it. It being representative of traditional Mexico, like, architecture and, you know, the sugar skulls of, you know, the Day of the Dead stuff. When I got the game, like, already I saw it, I was like, oh, that's really cool that they're having, like, Mexican representation in the game. And then when I actually played it, and I actually, you know, have it on stream, I streamed pretty much my reactions to the game. I was playing through it. I was astonished, downright astonished as to how accurate they got everything. The architecture is spot on. The sugar skulls are really, really well represented. They have little details there, like the potted plants, the ponchos, the covers, the blankets that are hand woven. little like propane tanks, like all that stuff to me made me appreciate the game so much more, because you could see the care that they put into it, the research that they put into it. So it was amazing to me to see all this stuff, and that was just like from the trailer, you know. It got me excited about it. Again, all the details, Mario's hat bobbing up and down, like me freaking out about it. Diving, which it really kind of wasn't a thing in Mario games. Like, yeah, you could dive ever since 64, but it didn't look like a swimmer dive, you know? It didn't look like that ever. So the fact that they added that this time around was, to me, super endearing and super just amazing that they added that level of detail. And to me, it's incredible to think, like, I'm looking at the date right now, I just realized that game came out a month ago, and I've already beaten the game like 5 times, if not more, just because that's just how fun the game is. I actually took up speedrunning the game just because of how fun I think it is. I know a lot of people who speedrun like 64 and a lot of like other Nintendo games might not think of Odyssey as like a great speedrunning game because it's too technical, but I think that's what makes it fun. It's like it's too technical, and yet at the same time it's kind of simple for people to understand what to do. And it's a great game. Like it introduces great concepts. The story, I think it does it really well, because it's simple enough to the point where, you know, it's still a Mario game and it doesn't need to be overcomplicated, and yet it's also not too simple to the point where it still kind of remains interesting. The music, holy God, the music is something that I never really talk about in Mario games. I know a lot of people love the Galaxy soundtrack, as they should, because the soundtrack is phenomenal, the orchestration for the soundtrack is great, but I don't know, I guess to me, an orchestrated soundtrack for Mario, I don't know, I never look at them and I think, you know what, Mario needs an orchestra. Like, I've never thought of it that way. And while I do agree that the Galaxy soundtrack is amazing, it's phenomenal, I think I like Odyssey's more for what it does. It feels more cheery, it feels more like what it needs to be. There's again, going back to the diversity of the game, I'm not even going in order at this point anymore, I'm just going term to term. Like in the Bowser level, in the Bowser world, it's traditional Japanese, and it's like, wow, this is great. Like, never before. I mean, in 3D World, you had, like, the flashy casino and, like, kind of Vegas-y sort of, like, Bowser Land. And this, which already was kind of unique, and I was really interested to see, like, what are they going to do for Bowser's World? Like, is it going to be, like, a kind of a traditional Bowser's Castle kind of feel, or what are they going to do with it? Or are they going to go in the more, like, flashy sense that they've been doing, like, recently? And it wasn't really a combination of both. It was a bit more traditional in the fact that, like, oh, the skies are red and the lava and all that. And it was incredible just to see, like, the level of detail, the care, the art, the music, everything comes together so well. All the enemies, which, you know, all the different, like, new races and people you meet. It's so interesting. Like, for example, obviously the first, like, people that you encounter are the people from the Sand Kingdom, the Sugar Skulls, because in the Cascade Kingdom there aren't really anybody other than the Chain Chomps and the dinosaurs, and then you go to, like, the Lake Kingdom and you meet, like, the fish ladies, and you go to the Wooded Kingdom and ironically there are robots, and the Ice Kingdom and they're, like, the blubber bears, and it's just all so it's little details like that bring the game to life. Like the people all around, like, oh man, this is bad. Oh Jesus, what's going on? You going through those worlds and beating up the bad guys. It feels very traditional while also feeling kind of modern in a way. It's something that didn't need this much life, and yet it's made so much better by the fact that it's so lively. The designs on the characters I absolutely adore. Like, for example, I said this, I think, on stream as well. How is it that such a simple change in Bowser's design, and they made such a simple change, and I love it so much. Like, if you take Bowser's top hat off, his hair is, like, slicked to the side. It makes him look so fancy, and it shouldn't. Like, it's just his hair licked to the side. What makes him look fancy? I don't know, but I love the way he looks. I wish I could explain why it's so cool to me. It's such a little change. Same goes for Peach. I don't remember who I was having this discussion with. I think it was Honest Bigums. I think I told him, no. It was actually during the time I was making this this thumbnail, because I actually did this thumbnail during a stream, which is partially why this video is so long, because I had to like edit it and like make it faster. And it took me like 6 hours because we were memeing so hard. So like I stopped every so often to do something. And I was actually having kind of a discussion with one of the people in chat, saying how I thought Peach was so cute. And I'd never really drawn Peach or Bowser before. So I really wanted to do that this time around, instead of drawing Pauline, who I already drew for my cover of Jump Up Superstar, which isn't the best picture of Pauline. I could have done better, honestly. But at the same time, I was rushing because it was like the day before Odyssey came out. And I was like, I want to get it done by the time Odyssey comes out. It was very impromptu. I recorded it all in one day. I did the drawing in one day and, you know, all that. But I don't think I've ever drawn Peach and Bowser before. I've done it like maybe once, and it was years ago. So I was looking at Peach and I was like, I think Peach is so cute. And looking back, it's like, I think it's her bridal outfit that makes her look so cute. Because when I think about Peach in her like normal pink dress, I don't find her that adorable. I still think she's cute, but I don't find her as cute as in her wedding dress. And I don't know why that is. It's such a simple change. Like, I think her hair up is probably what does it for me. I think that's what makes her really cute. Bowser with his hair. Like, it's all hair. Like, why is it all hair? But I love their designs. I love the new mechanics of the game with Cappy. The tricks you can do with Cappy are incredible. And they're not too hard to learn, but it's still so much fun. The voice acting, most of the voice acting is... I love how it's really half and half. I don't think I've ever seen a cast where it's like half American, half Japanese. Because, like, you have Bowser, Peach, and Mario, who are all voiced by American people. Charles Martinet, Samantha Kelly, and I forget who does Bowser. But I know that he's not Asian. I know that. I know that he's not Japanese. And like Cappy and the Brutals and Tiara, like they're all Japanese voice actors. It's like, and they didn't need to change that at all because it's all gibberish. Like there are no like real lines, you know. Kate Higgins as Pauline, you know, like it's just half and half. And I find the way Cappy speaks to be so cute. Like for the longest time, I was just working on different stuff and I was like, Deming, come on. Like, I don't know why. It was so cute to me. I couldn't, like, just under my breath, I would mutter those things. I was just like, oh man, I need to stop doing that. But I always found him really cute. And the Brutals, I don't know why they didn't decide to go for the Koopalings. I think the Koopalings would have been a more interesting concept. And you know what? Ironically enough, now that I think about it, we've never fought the Koopalings in a 3D Mario game. And by that I mean, like, think about it. In 64, it was only Bowser. In Sunshine, it was Bowser Jr. In Galaxy, it was Bowser and Bowser Jr. In both Galaxy games, I think. But, like, in none of that series, do we ever fight the Koopalings? And I don't know, I think it would be a good idea to include them. I don't know why they didn't. I don't know why they included the Brutals. Like, they did. I don't think they needed an excuse to be like, oh, it's because they come from the moon, because that's our main motif. I don't know why they chose moons as the main motif, but, you know, for my namesake, I absolutely adore it. They were collecting power moons instead of power stars. That's awesome. Speaking of power stars, I was actually thinking about it before recording this and realizing that while Odyssey has a lot of nostalgic moments, I don't think it necessarily ever relies on nostalgia for anything. Like, you have the 8-bit sections, but it's like that's like a part of the game that isn't really even all too essential. You can beat the game without ever really doing a 2D section, except for one at the end with Bowser. Spoiler territory, I guess. Sorry. But, I mean, since it's a retrospective, you probably should have already assumed that. But, like, yeah, that part especially, I was incredibly... Oh, my God. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was brilliant. just the design of everything. Like, you go from the Cascade Kingdom to, like, it's a realistic world of dinosaurs. It's like, oh my god. To the Sand Kingdom, which is really barren, and yet it's huge. The Sand Kingdom is huge, and there's so little in it, and yet it's so incredible. Like, again, the things that they get right, the oasis, the architecture, the people, the pyramids. Mexico's not entirely a desert, and I've had to point that out many times, but, like, at least what they're trying to do from a traditional standpoint is correct, and it looks great. After that, like, the Lake Kingdom, I think it looks really pretty, the aesthetic is really nice, the colors they used, and like, the game changes on you sometimes. It's like, okay, now it's daytime, now it's sunset, now it's nighttime, depending on what point in the game you are. The Wooded Kingdom, like, sure, it really reminds me of Planet Wish from Sonic Colors, but in and of itself, it's great, you know, like what it does and the platforming and the, you know, the things that you can capture, which is one of the elements. It's like capturing things in the game is so much fun, like experimenting with the different abilities, like the onion guy from the Wooded Kingdom, just like, what do you even do? Oh my god, you can, your legs stretch, your stretched legs strong, like little stuff like that you discover here and there. It makes the game so much fun. The Lost Kingdom, it's so pretty. Like, I don't hate the jungle aesthetic, but it usually isn't one of my favorites. And then, like, you have the Lost Kingdom where it's just the poison lake and then, like, the orangish and purplish and yellowish and sometimes kind of blue and red, like combining all those, like, really autumny, you know, jungle-ish kind of colors. It's so hard to describe what it looks like, and it looks so pretty. It looks so nice. Then we have the Cloud Kingdom, which is, like, really just nothing. I'm trying to remember them in order, actually. The Metro... Well, okay, I already messed that up because the Lost Kingdom and the Cloud Kingdom are two totally different ones. Well, no, the Cloud Kingdom comes before the Lost Kingdom. Anyway, then we have the Metro Kingdom, which is Mario in a city. Mario in New York City. Like, I know that that's the joke, like, oh, because he's from Brooklyn or whatever the fuck. Forget about it. But, like, you know, in an actual Mario game, and it works, and it looks great, like, it shouldn't look this great. Why does it look so good? And it looks good, and it works, and it's... Oh my god. Platforming as Mario on skyscrapers. When the actual fuck would you ever expect me to say that about a Mario game? And everyone was taken aback by it, because everyone was like, oh, it's like Assassin's Creed, or it's like fucking Sonic. It's like, yeah, I can see a lot of parallels, but it works so well in the context of Mario. Grand Theft Mario. It's like, well, okay, we're not going to go that far, except for the fact that you can ride a moped, but still, like, oh my god, it was so... That was one of the things that also really got me, too. It's just like, how many things you can interact with in this game. It's incredible. It's amazing. After that, we have... God, what are the other two ones? The Ice Kingdom, which... It has, like, two different aesthetics. Like, the outside is just cold and, like, all desolate. Like, it's just a terrible, like, snowstorm at first. It's so, like, scary. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know where I'm going. And then, like, you go inside, it's like, oh, it kind of looks, like, warm and fuzzy in here. It's, like, really nice. And then you beat the world and you go outside. It's like, man, this is a winter wonderland. It looks beautiful. Like, every single part of the ambience is great. Oh god, just thinking back on why I like the game. Like, I can play it and not be astonished by it at all. But thinking back to it and knowing, like, man, this is fucking amazing. Like, going back and realizing why it's so good still gets me. It still gets me to think, like, man, this really is fantastic. After that, you have the Seaside Kingdom, which is probably one of my most forgotten. It's one of the kingdoms I forget the most, is what I'm trying to say. Because it's like, it's just beach, you know, it's like, there's nothing too inherently, you know, there's nothing that I remember too much about it. There's a lot of water, there's a lot of swimming, and even then you don't really have to swim in order to beat the kingdom, which, like, I don't find myself going back to that kingdom too much, along with the Ice King. That's why I kind of forget those two a lot. And you have the Ruined Kingdom, which is totally out of left field. It's like they have a dragon in that, like an actual, you know how, like, Bowser's a cartoon turtle dragon? No, we have, like, a fucking Harry Potter dragon in this, which is like, what? And it works! Why does it work? It shouldn't work. The bosses are all unique. The way you fight them is all unique. It's great. It's fantastic. There's variety. There's charm. It's not just Bowser all the time. It's not just the Brutals all the time, which I definitely appreciate. I love that. And even the Brutals, their final fight is not just them again. It's them inside a wooden robot. I feel that, like, that's such a, like, how? The aesthetic is so opposite from itself, and yet it works so well. It's such an oxymoron, like a wooded robot. You think robot, you think metal, right? It's like, yeah, it has metal, but it's mostly comprised of wood. And it works so well. So, like, again, going back, like, the Seaside Kingdom is just beach. It's really nice. It's very, very pretty. The music's nice. The water aesthetic is beautiful, but I don't find myself going back to it. I forget it constantly. And then after that, you have the moon. Oh my god, the moon. I wish there was more to it. I'm not gonna lie. I do wish there was more to the moon. But just the fact that, like, you're working in zero gravity, like, platforming as Mario in zero gravity, for some reason is just so much fun. A very short world. It's like where you're having the last few parts of the game, and the charms really, really comes out there. I think, like, during the last few parts of the game, the charm absolutely comes out. After that, you unlock different things because it turns out, as I find out, you can collect 999 moons in the game, and I'm actually only halfway there because I've wanted to do it on stream. I don't want to actually just do it on my own time, though I might end up doing that. I don't know. I haven't 100% completed the game yet. But just knowing that there's so many things to collect, it's a collectathonner's wet dream. And I love collectathon platformers. I absolutely love collecting stuff in games. I don't know why. It brings a sense of accomplishment because it's like, okay, I'm going through the game that you wanted me to go through, not just the game I came here to play, right? Like, I'm also doing what the game wants me to do. It wants me to collect these things because otherwise they wouldn't have designed it that way. So you have Darker Side of the Moon, which is a gauntlet of refights against the Brutals and Madam Brutal, which you would think, well, I mean, whatever, they're super easy. Yeah, they're super easy when you have normal gravity. When you have lighter gravity, it actually becomes way harder because you're no longer taking into account your jumps, which is one of the things you rely most heavily on. You rely on your jumps so much that they actually become way more difficult than they should be. Way more difficult. And I feel like they knew that. I feel like they kind of designed it to be like, okay, this is going to be like piss easy in normal play. But once you get here, oh man, you better be prepared. And actually, after that, I didn't know, because there was like, oh, there's another world I can go to after this, but I got to collect like fucking 500 power moons or something. I don't remember exactly what the number was. It might have been 500. And you go to Darker Side of the Moon, which is like the ultimate gauntlet of shit. No checkpoints, none of that, nothing, absolutely nothing. I did that on stream, I completed it on stream. And the thing is, like, I was looking at it, I got I got like to almost the very last section on my first try. I was being super careful. And then I died, and it took me all the way back. I'm like, I can do this shit all over again. It's this one fucking part that's messing me up, and I don't know if you all know what it is, but it's the fucking hedgehog part where you have to do the Pokio shit after it, and it sucks. I actually ended up semi-cheating. I ended up abusing, like, Glidon's, if you shake the Joy-Con's Glidon, which is my lizard friend. Everyone knows that I love my lizard friend. That's a reference to when they did a Nintendo Direct. I actually posted it on my channel as a reaction. They put Glidon on screen when you capture him as Mario. Who else would you capture him as? And I love his run cycle, so I just sound like, I am a lizard, my friend. And like, I don't know, it made me laugh so much that everyone is just like, oh, you have to say that every time you capture something now, and it just kind of became a staple. But with him especially. So if you shake the Joy-Con, you actually make him like fly a little bit higher, so he gains a little bit of height. So I ended up abusing that to get all the way and skip it to the very end, which I'm sure they intended you on doing, otherwise they would have mapped that to something else. you can't say that they didn't make that intentional. But anyway, like after a few hours, I finally beat it. But everyone knows that I was not having trouble with that part. I didn't find Darker Side hard at all until the fucking Pokio part and the Hedgehog part, which sucked, because it's like, you mess up once, your ass is going all the way back to the beginning. But all in all, even so, even despite how hard that area is, and despite how hard sometimes the game can be, it's never frustrating to the point where you're just like, fuck this, I don't want to play this game anymore. You keep coming back to it because it's so damn fun. And you could ask me, what's so fun about it? I don't know. 64's fun. Sunshine's fun. Galaxy's fun. Why is Odyssey so much better? Is it because of Cappy? Is it because of the locales? Is it because of the music? Is it because of the just impossible tricks you can do sometimes? I think it's all of it, honestly. I think it's just everything. It all came together to perform such a great thing. Except for the fact that Luigi's not in the game. That was a really dick move. And don't give me that you can unlock him as a costume. I don't give a shit. I want Luigi. I want Super Luigi Odyssey with a flutter jump. And fucking make Darker Side harder, please. As Luigi. But no, like, just, there's such charm to it. You know, again, like the way the story was presented, the things that you don't expect. I think that was another thing too. Like with Galaxy, I think in a way you don't expect things, but at the same time they don't feel weird to you. You're just like, oh, okay, this is nice, this is cool. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, okay, we have this world. And this time around, I was like, oh, this is the water world. Holy crap, this is great. Oh my god, this is the fire world? Oh my god! Like, it just keeps surprising you and surprising you and surprising you. You keep coming back to it. It's just, there's so much about it. And then I didn't even mention this, the one secret world. After you beat the game, you unlock the Mushroom Kingdom, which I didn't grow up on Mario 64, so I don't think I had such a nostalgia boner as a lot of other people did. But I did definitely appreciate it. I saw it and I was like, no fucking way. A playable? Wait a second. And like you start doing exploring and it's like, yeah, there's so many references to past Mario games. Like that one room where you have to unlock a certain costume to go into it and it's just a recreation of one of the 64 worlds. The recreation of Peach's castle, like you go to the top and you find Yoshi there. Fucking Yoshi! My Bwapu was so, oh my god, I was so excited to see him again. As a playable character, and I even said, like, oh my god, Yoshi control is so fun. They should just make a Yoshi game that's just this. Controlling Yoshi in the way you control him in Odyssey. I think it would go over huge. A Bowser game? Oh my god, that would be incredible. And then, like, you go inside Peach's castle and you see it, and it's like, it's not a recreation of the Mario 64 version of Peach's Castle. I personally saw it more as a recreation of the Paper Mario version of Peach's Castle, which is still good. I still like that. I thought that was a clever callback. The Tanuki tree, just so many different things about the game that were so good. Possessing old enemies like the Goombas, the Hammer Brothers. I don't think you never could capture a Koopa, huh? I never thought about that. But the Koopa races, they're back. The Koopa the Quick Shit. Oh my god. And they're so fun. And they're so they make it so that you keep trying to go for a better time. Even the mini games are great in this game, and that's not something I usually commend on a game. Like, whenever a game has mini games, it's just like, oh, okay, that's cute, but whatever. Like this time, it's like, no, you keep coming back to it because it's so damn fun. I could gush over the reasons why I love this game so much. I didn't actually think I'd be able to do that for 30 minutes straight, but here we are. I want to thank everyone who stuck by me today, listening to me suck this game's dick, for lack of a better term, for 30 minutes. And also to everyone who joined me on my stream while I was actually making this piece, and was there with me having a good time, having a talk for 6 hours. Jesus. Thank you so much for joining me for this. And actually, what's great about this piece in particular is that a lot of people, my followers and the people in my chat were actually suggesting things I should do. Like I fixed Peach's hair, the background, I flipped it so that it looked better. The compositing, they told me that it looked better in blue. Like all those little things that they gave me advice on and I implemented, they made it look better. And that's why I actually really have a sentimental connection with this thumbnail in particular, this piece in particular. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't picked up this game, if you don't own a Switch, I think getting it for this game is enough. If you like this kind of game, I do, so I absolutely adored it. But thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe and stay awesome. This is Char5, signing off.